Look, this is the $1,000,000 question. How will sales professionals and small business owners like us, people who didn't have the best mentors, the best information, or the best start in life, how will we turn that around and live the absolute best life we can for ourselves and our families because we all deserve it? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is David Huffman, and welcome to Sales Talk Uncensored.
Sales Talk Uncensored. What is going on? It's David Huffman, the Huff, your mentor, and we have a special episode today. We have Kaila Bailey with us, and Kaila is a rock star. She's a rock star in real estate. In fact, she started real estate in 2017, and in 2018, her very first year in sales. So not just real estate, I'm talking sales, right? She was the Rookie of the Year. Not only that, but she hit top 10 saleswoman in Northern Nevada. She closed out the year 32 transactions, and she is a phenom. So we're going to talk to her about success and what it's taken to produce numbers and to hit the accomplishments that she's had in such a short time, and what some of her secrets and advice are. So let's get started, I guess. Kaila, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm excited.
Awesome. I love it. So why don't you tell people a little bit about yourself, and I kind of hit some highlights, but...
Okay, so I am a realtor with the Valet Group at Remax Professionals. I am on a team, and like you said, I got my real estate license in 2017. I started practicing in August of 2017. I didn't do very good my first couple months, but 2018 I knocked it out of the park. Being really dedicated and having the passion doing what I do. I came from a property management background and did that for a couple of years. I actually got my license to get a promotion, and I did it with a friend of mine, and she wanted to sell real estate. I thought she was crazy. I told her that she was I'm like, you're dumb, don't do that shit. And I ended up getting into it and fell in love. So I've been doing it since then, and it's kind of my favorite thing.
I like it. So you went from property management to real estate, am I right?
Yes.
How was that transition? Because you think about property management, and I don't know, I think about the people I harass in my condo association and my apartment managers. I don't think it ties to real estate inherently. How is that transition?
It was really interesting to transition into real estate. The one thing that I can say that property management did give me is the backbone and the confidence and assertiveness that I needed to be successful.
Okay. So with property management, that's obviously not too sales related, am I right?
No, in fact, I worked in the corporate office. I was the person who was the customer service person, the first person you saw when you walked through the door. I assisted all of the commercial and residential property managers and the accounting team. It's kind of the problem with property management is it just didn't challenge me enough. Uh-huh. I got to the point where I was asking for work and became so efficient that I was kind of doing everything, and I was no longer being challenged. I was having to draw out tasks to make it look like I was doing something during the 8 hours they had me sitting up there, but I learned a lot from it. My customer service skills are top notch, and I'm really fluent in all aspects of the business, so it kind of gave me a little edge.
So you're kind of in a secretary administration, assistant role, almost, right?
Yep, exactly.
That is crazy. So you're doing that, you're not being challenged, and you're like, hey, I want more, so I'm going to do the worst thing possible and become a realtor, right? Yeah?
Yeah, actually, it worked out a little different than that. I quit my job when I got pregnant with my daughter. And
the property management?
Yep, property management. In fact, a week before my maternity leave, I went into my boss and told her that I wanted to forfeit my position with the company and that I had gotten my license and didn't tell anybody, and that I wanted to come back to work after spending time with my newborn in a promotion. And so I asked for it. But when I was on maternity leave, my husband got injured and he ruptured a disc in his back. And
how'd that happen for?
Yeah, it was not.
It led to a nice little painkiller habit.
Yeah, well.
That was not good for me at all.
Yeah, exactly. So I was taking care of a newborn and my husband, and ultimately he couldn't work. And we ran out of money, and I decided to go and back to work. And when I called my boss and said, hey, I need my job back, she said, I don't have one for you.
Oh, wow.
I reached out to my community of property managers and said, hey guys, I'm desperate. I need something, willing to take a pay cut. And one of my friends reached out to me and said, I know a real estate team. They sold me my house. They're looking for an administrative assistant for their team. And
was this in like 2017?
This is in 2017, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So right around April of 2017. I went and worked for a real estate team and did their transaction coordination. And that is where I met the love of my life, residential real estate.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah.
So you mentioned with property management that you were bored with it and you had to get out of it. And that's something that I found with myself too. And I like to think of myself as a top performer is I get bored super easy. And I have a need to keep moving forward. Is that something that you notice with yourself too?
Absolutely. I have no ceiling. You
just want more and more and more.
I want more and more. Yeah, I've posted things on my Facebook that are like, I'm going to be a millionaire by my 40th birthday. Like, I literally do not. I allow myself to dream so wild that I get chills right now just saying that. Like, I am so excited about my life and what I can do with it that I never put a limit on what's possible for me.
I like it, and that's something that's great to hear, because for a lot of people, they don't look at the goals that they can achieve. They look at the goals that are set on them by other people. You know, I've always been a huge fan of aiming for the stars, because hey, if I fail, I'm gonna land on the moon. You know, people say aim for the moon. Fuck that. Why? Because if you aim for the moon, you're gonna land on the clouds. Guess what? If you land on the clouds, tumbling back to Earth, you're gonna die. You dumb shit. Like that's really the bottom line. So I love the fact that you have the super high goals. Growing up and stuff, like what were some of the goals that you had and some of the goals that you were fighting for?
So growing up for me was a real big challenge. My mom was a single mom. She got divorced when I was really young. I want to say around 15, 16. And I had 3 younger siblings, and she had to go out there and straight hustle every single day to put a roof over our heads. And
was she in sales when you say hustle, or was she?
No, she had.
I got 3 jobs.
Yeah, she was like, she would take any job that she could. I mean, to this day, she works full time and owns a cleaning business because I still have 2 siblings at home. So.
Oh wow.
I stayed home and raised the kids, and we were a team, and my goals were to just not ever have that life, to do things differently, to break that cycle. Growing up, we didn't really have a whole lot, and we couldn't do fun things. So I wanted to provide my life and my children with the possibilities that anything can happen, and that I could provide for them all the things that I wish that I could have done when I was younger.
I can totally relate there. My parents didn't have indoor plumbing till the mid '80s, so
I can't relate to that. We didn't have indoor plumbing.
Like, everything I do is to defy where I've been and the limits that my mind has put on me. Through the, I guess, programming, growing up and stuff, and through living my life. Now, obviously, I talked to you off the mic and stuff, and we were talking about your success and some of the success that you had, and you did mention that a lot of it is with your mindset. Have you always had like a great mindset, or is it something you've developed over time? Like, let's talk about that mindset and that aspect of stuff.
So it's actually something for me that's developed over time. I want to say back in 2010, 2011, I was going through a really rough time in my life. My husband and I had split up. We weren't married at the time, but I was a single mom, essentially, trading my daughter off every week. I was working a job that literally only covered my daycare. I could not pay my rent. I was selling furniture out of my house. I just really hit rock bottom.
That is sad. So
Yeah.
I've always thought about that too, and the single woman with the children, especially if you got multiple children, when they sit down and they get a job, it's always like, well, what am I doing with the kids? And as a dude, I sit down, I look, and I'm like, wow, that's insane. And especially if you got these deadbeat guys, just, I don't know what your situation is. I'm not saying anything about your husband. I'm just talking in general here. But when you got these deadbeat guys that like don't help out and don't support, it blows my mind, because you do the math. It's like, wow, you're making $12 an hour, and every single hour you're at work, you got 3 kids, then you got taxes, and you got daycare. It's like, how do you make it work? It's just, wow.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, in my situation, my daughter's dad was really good. Unfortunately for me, on the weeks that he had her, I spent a lot of it doing really bad decisions. Drinking a lot, going out to the clubs, really just kind of being
young, right?
Being young and a train wreck. Just being
Pretty
super
days,
stupid,
right?
yeah, and I don't regret it, because I think that sometimes the strongest people come from such humble and painful beginnings.
Oh, yeah.
And I was able to look at my life and realize that it fucking sucked. And I asked for my friends to text me and post inspirational messages to me on a daily. Like, please think about me. I need to pull my head out of this. And they saved me. And then from there, I just started reading self-development books. And, I started implementing all of the things that I was learning and testing, like, what's going to work for me. And, and we talked about my morning routine and what I do for that. So, I just try things, and I'm not afraid to fail. And if something doesn't work, I scratch it off the list, and I try something new, and I wait for what fits, and I just keep doing it.
I like it. So what are some good resources that you use for mindset training? You mentioned that you read, and, you had your friends send you inspirational stuff, but for the people that are listening, what are some good places to look and some good things to look at? Any good authors, books, YouTube channels, stuff like that?
Yeah, so I love to read. My morning routine comes from The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, and he talks about SAVERS, and it's an acronym for a 10-minute segment in 1 hour. And so that's what I use for my morning routine, and I design it however I feel like I need to that day. And I also love Darren Hardy. I read a lot of real estate books, so insert author of real estate book here. I've probably read it.
I like Gary Keller a lot. His
love
one thing.
Yes.
Like his one thing, and John Bishop's Unfuck Yourself, which sounds like kind of happened to you in 2010. But both those books I read 2017 and 2018. Late 2017, early 2018, and then just huge change. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, it really bends the way you think about things.
Mm-hmm.
I also listen to a lot of podcasts. I'm kind of a junkie. I listen to Real Estate Uncensored, GSD, Get Shit Done, anything that is kind of really raw and honest. Mm-hmm. I also listen to a lot of mindset podcasts. I literally just go in the search bar and listen and look for things that stick out to me. Rise by Rachel Hollis is a current favorite of mine. I watch a lot of YouTube videos. I listen to it in my car. I have like Auto University on pretty much 24/7.
What is it?
Auto University. It's kind of,
that?
I drive so much all the time, and I listen to music in the morning on my way into the office because it jazzes me up, gets me going. I dance in my car. People look at me like I'm a fucking freak. But I
dance my elliptical trainer. I tried to twerk on the first guy.
I see your posts on Facebook. Yeah, you dance in those videos.
try to twerk on it, my ass started cramping up.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you have to be careful with the twerk.
I can't twerk anyways. That's besides the point.
Yeah. So I'm always listening to a podcast or an audible or something that is pushing me in the closer direction of my dreams, something that's going to give me an idea or plant a seed or something I can implement on my way to my next appointment. So I'm always, always, always learning.
I like it. Now, you keep mentioning morning routine, and even this morning, off the microphone and stuff, you were talking about the morning routine. What's an example of your morning routine, and why is it so powerful?
So I've tried so many things, like I had said, over the years, trying to nail this down. The SAVERS acronym stands for silence, like meditation, affirmation, visualization, exercise, and reading. So each one of those acronym letters are spent on a 10-minute segment throughout the hour. So when I first implemented, I started doing that exact thing and I loved it. And then now I've just kind of have it tailored to what I like. So I exercise first. I'm usually get up and just go straight to the gym. And then I come back and take my shower and I get ready for the day. I sit on the couch and I do my silence. So that's my moment of gratitude where I'm grateful for things in my life. And I'm grateful for everything, like even the small stuff, like my kids opened their eyes today. It's warm outside.
Actually write down what I'm grateful for every single day.
Yeah.
And here's something a lot of people don't think about, but writing down your problems. Like, I'm so grateful for my problems, and even more so grateful for the ability to have solutions for those problems.
Yeah.
So what else? You're talking about gratitude. You're talking about meditation, the silence, of working out and stuff.
Yeah.
What else do you do? Like once you go home and stuff, and you sit on the couch and you knock out that silence part.
So then I start focusing on my goals. So I'm highly visual, and I have a vision board. Actually, I brought a picture of my vision board, one of the sections of my vision board today, because I wanted to show you this. I have a little bubble here that has my career and business goals that I made in November. And you'll see right here, it says, be interviewed by a podcast.
I remember that first time we met. It's funny because we met from Facebook. So we connected on Facebook. We were supposed to meet at Starbucks to talk about social media or some shit. Can't even remember. Well, we go to Starbucks and I had my second phone, which isn't actually active. It's an old phone, but I used that for my second account, right? For my, for various accounts. And I couldn't message her, so I'm sitting there walking around like, oh shit, who is this person? And then I finally found her. But, yeah, and that very first time that we were talking, though, you even brought that up, like, hey, I wrote this down in my goals in November. That's awesome. And it's really, really cool because in 2018 with the Rookie of the Year and stuff, and hitting the huge numbers that you did, the big accomplishments, you were top 10 saleswoman in Northern Nevada. What was that? There's some women professional something, right? What?
Yeah, professional saleswoman of Nevada.
Okay, how long have you been involved with them?
So they actually asked me to speak for them at one point and teach a class on Instagram. And I went there and taught a class on Instagram for them, and they ended up, I had a really great experience. What I love about Professional Saleswomen of Nevada is it is a non-realtor related women network. And this is women of all sales types. I mean, literally anything you can think of, from where I'm at in real estate and all the parties related to that in sales. And then you've got your doTERRA saleswomen and your Mary Kay. And so you have the big and the small of everything. So it's such a great mix of women. So I was highly honored to be up on that stage and stand there with those women as we were recognized. It was amazing.
I like it a lot. So you mentioned Instagram, and pretty much everyone that follows me likes social media. Why? Because I've sold over $1 million, sold quite a bit of money from social media since 2008. So I do a lot of coaching and consulting with social media. What are some tips that you have for my listeners, because they do love the social media with Instagram and using it for sales and marketing? Do you have any tips?
I do. Don't just double tap all the damn photos. You have to engage and comment and be a part of the people that you follow and your followers' lives. Like, you have to leave good comments on their stuff. Like, that's what lights us up. It triggers that, euphoric feeling we get in our brain that makes us addicted to the content that we see, and it keeps us checking back for likes and comments, because really that's what all happens is social media. You turn it on to see who is engaged with something I said, and then you get trapped into the world of...
Turn on to see who paid me. I was on a coaching call this morning, and I had Zoom, and I had screen recording on, and we're going over a Facebook profile, right?
Oh, yeah.
And next thing I know, I had this random ass chat pop up, and it's someone inboxing me money. It said, payment completed. I'm like, what the hell? Cool, I just got random money.
Oh, well, that's awesome. That never happens to me. I guess I got something new for my vision board.
I live a weird life doing what I do, social media stuff.
Yeah.
So with the Instagram, how you mentioned the double tap and the creating affinity and that connection with other people, and I agree wholeheartedly, because that's social media in general. Like you need that connection. What are some other tips and tricks to use Instagram from a sales perspective?
So Instagram's really about brand awareness, and you really have to understand who your target audience is in order to curtail your content to it. Mm-hmm. I like to post a lot of really personal stuff. I want my people to know the real Kaila and who I am. I dance on there. I'm weird. I post pictures. I took a picture of your dog earlier. It's totally going on my Instagram. But, it's my world. It's through my eyes. And I allow people to come in and witness a very personal side of me. So Instagram so much isn't for the sales Kaila, it's for the real Kaila, so I can connect better with the people around me.
Are you guys listening to this right now? I had no idea she even did a talk about Instagram until 3 minutes ago, right? And she's telling you the same shit that I tell you guys. Stop selling on your damn post. Come across as people. Start posting people shit. People aren't into robots unless you're into some kinky shit, am I right? Let's just go with my normal joke. But that's the truth, and it even works for Instagram, which is great.
Yeah, I would say for every 6 or 7 personal posts, you can throw one little thing about your business, but it has to stay curious. Like, I never go on my social media and ask for business unless I've got something that's specifically going to benefit a crowd. Like I was looking for veterans the other day, and I basically can cover all of their closing costs right now. And I asked for people to send them my way. But that is like one out of all of my other personal shit. And, most of it is just me celebrating my successes. Like, I sold this house. Congratulations to my awesome clients.
And I like that. That's social proof, too. The social proof is branding yourself as an authority figure. So for the people out there listening, that's good habits. Do that. I love it. So we talked about the mindset, we talked about a bunch of stuff. We were going to talk about referrals too, because your 32 transactions, very first year in sales ever, is super, super impressive. You mentioned that half those leads were team leads, which a lot of realtors are probably going to listen to this and understand it. And if not, team leads are like, they're like leads given to you from company. They're like company leads, lot up, stuff like that, right? And you mentioned that half your transactions were referrals too, which is a boatload. That's still 15, 20 transactions in your very first year ever as sales. And that's not just transactions, that's real estate transactions. These are big ass houses, $400,000 houses, So what are some tips and stuff that you have for the referral game?
So I like to joke and say my job is not to sell houses, it's to build relationships with people and safely get them through the biggest transaction of their life. There's a lot of things that can go on, a lot of bumps in the road, and I literally am the person in your corner. You're in the sidelines cheering me on, and I'm in the ring getting ready to punch someone in the face if they mess up. So, but I love my people. I stay in really close contact with all of my past clients. I call them, I ask them about their lives. If they tell me something important that's just happened, they bought a new car, they're having a baby, they got a new job, I send them a card just saying, hey, you rock, good job, this is awesome. I celebrate my people, and I genuinely...
What do you mean you celebrate your people?
in any way that I can. So if I see a cute picture of them and their significant other or their kids on Facebook, I'll actually save the photo, go to my app. I use Send Out Cards, and I can send a picture postcard of them, and on the back it's just said, hey, I saw this on social media. It's my favorite picture of you guys. I hope you like it. Here it is. You guys are awesome.
I had a guy a couple of years ago. I was trying to sell him. It's back when I was selling 30 and 30 with Mark. But he did a multi-level marketing company that's very, very similar. And he actually sent me one of those cards. And he sent me some brownies, too.
Oh, yeah. They come with the brownie, yeah.
Yeah, but the card is super, super cool. Like, I was like, this thing's dope.
Yeah.
Like, it is the picture I had a Gap shirt on is us in San Francisco. It's just family photo, and it's super cool. I loved it.
Yeah. So
you mentioned the call and the follow-ups, and you're sending them stuff. Is there like a schedule, a timeline that you're working off of? Obviously being super busy and super successful, you probably live a pretty structured life, right?
Yeah, I use the Ninja system for work, Ninja selling.
Okay.
And that it's very structured, highly structured, and
what's Ninja? Is that like a book?
It's a
process,
book.
A software?
Yep, it's a book. You can buy the book. There are companies that actually do the trainings for it. There's a planner for it. So it's a legit system. The book is amazing because the book is all about creating relationships with people and actually talking to them like humans instead of like consumers, you know what I mean? So I really love the systems there, and basically there is a 2-hour time block each week for customer service calls. So that's where I'm calling all of the parties in my transactions, all my under contract buyers, under contract sellers, all of my A buyers, and then I call, so that's it. So I call all my A buyers. So I do that in that 2-hour window. The next 2-hour time block in the week, and I just kind of place them wherever I have time. And that is my sphere call. So that's where I pull out my past client database and I just go down the list. And when I'm done with the list, I start at the top, and I'll leave a message for them just saying, hey, it's Kaila. I want to say hi. I saw this on Facebook. You guys are awesome. Looks like you had a great time at Disneyland. Give me a call back when you get this. Would love to catch up with you. If they don't call me back, I don't care because we get busy in life. But most of the time they'll call me back and say, oh, I'm so glad you called. I actually met somebody who's looking to buy a house. Like, I didn't even have to say, do you know somebody? It's because I stay in contact and I celebrate them when I can, that it's just I'm the automatic choice when it comes to sending business.
Yeah, it's top of mind. And that's Jack Schaefer, and he has a book, The Like Switch. And this is one of my arguments for social media and why it's so powerful. He talks about likability being frequency and duration. Think about all the people that you have the biggest contact with in your life, or biggest affinity or love for, hate for in your life. Doesn't matter. They're all people that you see a lot of or that you're around a lot of for the most part. So it's great that you're able to stay top of mind. That's actually why I like swag and a bunch of other stuff. So you mentioned that you actually are Facebook friends with a bunch of the people, and you'll actually stay on top of them and connected with them, and use that when you're sending them voicemails and reaching out to them. And that's super, super kick-ass. I love that. How do you become Facebook friends with a lot of your clients? Because me working with a lot of sales professionals and entrepreneurs, that's actually one of the challenges that a lot of people have.
I don't know why. Why would that be a challenge? You just ask them, like, hey, can we be friends? And
well, because people are awkward and people...
it fully depends on the relationship that you have. I'll go find them and send them as a friend request, and then I forget about it. And then if they don't accept me, then fine. And, but... I
think with real estate, it's a little bit different, too, because with real estate, it is that relationship-based business. It's not like car sales where it's one and done for the most part. But for the car sales people listening...
Just be bold. Do it. Go and ask to be their friend. If they say no, then fine. Yeah. Don't be afraid, you pussy.
And also, you hear the follow-up schedule that she's rocking? Follow-up wins, man. It's that FU money. So we're coming up on about 30 minutes. Let's go ahead and wrap this up here in a minute or 3-ish. What's you killed it. Like, let's be honest here. 2017, you got into it. you didn't do shit. You even said so. In
Yeah,
2018, you came out with a vengeance, and you killed it. What's the best advice that you could give to a new agent starting out, a new agent that wants to become Rookie of the Year, top 10 saleswoman, speaks at events, and does a lot of awesome shit?
You gotta not give up. In fact, even though I didn't do shit in 2017, I also didn't do shit in the first half of 2018.
But it's a build-up, though, right?
It is the build-up. And, there was a lot of times when that little voice inside my head said, maybe this is not for you. Really struggling to, take care of my family, and it was really hard. But I was able to silence that negativity inside of me and just kept doing it. And all of a sudden, my business, it was like I had to fight to break through a concrete wall. And the second I made it through it, it's been incredible. Like I can't even begin to describe what has happened. It just, all of a sudden the floodgates opened and success was pouring in all over me. And I just became a natural. I could just do it. It was great.
That's very similar to Sales Talk Uncensored, and with the podcast and with the Sales Talk Uncensored University with my coaching and consulting. I think that's really an entrepreneur thing. You just have to do it, because here's the thing, and now I'm starting to get more comfortable, but for a long time there, I was super uncomfortable.
It's really fucking hard.
I was so uncomfortable,
Yeah.
going from real estate and going from other positions where I found success to this, where I've failed in the past. Let's be honest here, I've failed in the past. Is craziness. So how are you able to sit down and keep pushing forward?
So, you mentioned failure, and I think that is the number one difference between high achievers and the people who don't. Is I look at my failures like opportunities, and I take the lessons from that, and I learn how I can be successful next time that this happens. I am a sponge for failure. I cannot wait for it to happen. I embrace it. I actively look for it, because I know that when I fail, I'm actually succeeding, because I'm not failing and then quitting. I'm failing and then rising up because of it. It's just my next roadblock. And I look at it like, if I can actively embrace and accept and look for my next failure, that means I'm growing just a little bit more. I'm one gigantic leap towards my end goal.
Yeah, and the thing with failing too, a lot of people don't realize, is failure is part of the process. Is steps. And I tell people this on lives and everything else. Failure or success isn't just one thing. Small steps and directions. And it's whatever steps you take in whatever direction the most is where you're going to end up. Before we go ahead and we end this, where can people find you? Do a little shameless plug.
So my little handle for everything is Kaila was here. Kaila was here. That's
funny.
It's my hashtag. It's kind of where I'm
really
at.
funny.
I love it. I am all over the place, so I think it's the most appropriate for me. But find me on Instagram, find me on Facebook, and that's probably going to be the best place to connect with me.
I like it. And if you guys haven't checked out our group yet, check out Sales Talk Uncensored group. Just search it in the Facebook bar. It'll pop right up. So super cool. We have some private training, some awesome information. We do some really cool stuff in there. And if you're in car sales, right? So if you sell automotive, if you're slinging steel, here's what I want you to do. I want you to look up Car Sales Secret in that search bar. And I want you to click on that group and join that group. That's my personal group, and we do private trainings, the whole nine. So I wanna sit down. I wanna help all you car sales people out there. So it's my goal to give you guys the best tips, the best information, just pure awesome sauce. So check out Car Sales Secrets, and